Hello guys and welcome to another video. My name's Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and property investor, and in today's video we're talking about lease extensions. And why are we talking about lease extensions, Nick?
Could you just delete the video?
No, because we've just bought a flat. We are now shooting this for the second time because Nick's just deleted the video. But the second time is going to be better. I've got all the information clear in my head and I'm going to be able to go through everything with you. So before we do, if you like the fact that I bring all this information free of charge, and I always will, please give this video a big like. It helps the algorithm get this information out to more people. And if you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm bringing my journey to you. I've currently got 13 properties. Number 14 is my first flat, and it's my first flat that's going to need a lease extension. So I'm going to be able to bring you all the information of what it costs me and how I go about doing that lease extension. And I've already done the research, so you're going to be able to get all that information today in this video. So guys, before we go through all that, what we need to do is cover what a lease actually is. So a lease means that the building owner, i.e. the freeholder, has essentially sold the right to inhabit part of the building. So very much like a tenant, and you are referred to as a tenant on the lease contract, but it's over a long period of time. So for example, this property had a 99-year lease when it was built. Now the intention of buying that 99-year lease was essentially that the internal space was sold on, and in return you paid a peppercorn rent to the landlord, and on top of that you also paid a service charge for the maintenance of the building. Now obviously these leases are going to come round for renewal, and the government have put things in place to make sure that people who buy flats aren't going to be penalised unduly and have to hand that space back. So you get an automatic right to extend your lease if the original lease was over 21 years. Now that's a really important part of it, because there are some places in central London where they've kept the original lease under 21 years on purpose to make sure you never get this right to do a new lease. Now the second stipulation is you must have owned the property for at least 2 years. So I'm not going to be able to do this until I've owned this property for 2 years. Now, you don't have to live in it, but you do have to own it. So it's important to make that distinction. And I've spoken to 2 separate solicitors, as well as getting some advice online and all the rest, and speaking to friends of mine who invest primarily in flats. And I've managed to gain a good bit of information which I can share with you. Now, at the point that you meet both those stipulations, the original over 21 years and you've owned it for 2 years, you can add 90 years at peppercorn rent automatically. So you have the right to do this regardless of the landlord's demand. Now you do that by getting your solicitor to serve something that's known as a Section 42 notice. And there's several parts to this, and I can break down the process later, but I think ultimately what we want to do on this video is just give an overview so that anybody can work out. And a Section 42 notice essentially means that you're going to be demanding that you add 90 years to the current lease length. So if we assume on this property, for example, that in 2 years' time, when I've only got 84 years left, I want to add 90 years to that, my new lease term will be 174 years. Hopefully I've got the maths right, Nick. Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. And Nick is a mathematical genius. People don't know that about Nick. So there are some things about this lease extension that you need to know. First of all, you're going to be liable to both parties' costs. That's the landlord and yourself. And the solicitors that I've spoken to said it's going to cost you 2 to 3 grand, something in that region. So I put it down as 2k-ish. There is also something known as a marriage allowance, that if the lease is less than 80 years, any uplift in value that you achieve by extending the lease, you have to share with the freeholder. So it's always going to be best, according to my sources, to try and extend the lease early when it's more than 80 years left. So for me, in this instance, and I've got 2 examples which I've sent over to you, Nick, 2 images. Number 1 is my example, which is 86 years left, and as you can see, it's only going to cost me £6,000 plus costs on average, and I will put a link on this for this calculator in the description, so feel free to play around with this. It's a fantastic resource. It's from the Lease Advice organisation. They really do break down roughly what it's going to cost you to do it, and according to the solicitors I've spoken to, it's regularly in the right ballpark, so I think it's a good bit of resource. The second image you're going to put up, Nick, that shows if there's only 79 years left, and as you can see, the price of this lease extension has almost doubled. Well, it has doubled. It's 12 to 14,000 to extend it, and that's because you're sharing any only uplift in value with the freeholder. So if you're going to do it, best to do it when you've got 80 years or more left on your lease. So this is a bit of an overview, guys. As I said, this is my first time of doing it, so please bear with me, and I will make sure that I video as I go through the process and exactly what solicitors are charging me, exactly what's happening as I go through it. But I do feel like I've got a good feel for what's going to happen. From everyone I've spoken to, it's a very straightforward process. It shouldn't put you off offering on apartments where they've got shorter leases, and if you can solve that problem, you'll get to uplift the value. Use a lease advice service, have a look and see how much it would cost you to do, and I think once you've done that, you'll be in a good position to know how much cost you're going to have and therefore how much value you're going to add. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a big like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And what I want to mention as well is remember that we're going to be giving the subscriber dividends away every single month. Last month we gave £27 away. Katie won it. I know next month's going to be a bigger dividend round, so I can't wait to give that away. And as our subscriber list builds, we're going to be doing some more projects where maybe we fund some of your deals and you can pitch me some of the things that you might need funding for. I'll be massively interested. I can't wait to start doing that with you. We just need to get to 10,000 subscribers and we're going to start rolling that out. So guys, I can't believe we're already at 2,000. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you again on Wednesday.